Hello, welcome to my first cooking video ever. So, I figured because I'm channeling Julia Child here, that I should have a drink. No wine for me, but I decided to go for something red, kombucha, that I could put into my wine glass. So today we're making make-ahead oatmeal. Sounds simple, but we're gonna action pack it with a whole pharmacy worth of vitamins and nutrients all through foods. And so let's begin. So to start, got to track down some glass jars. I usually use these jam jars which have been cleaned, these ones with this little lid. Alternatively, you've got mason jars. You can use these as well as mason jars that have a plastic lid. So your choice. In a pinch, you could use a plastic bag or a small Tupperware, but glass is really a great way to go, especially because we'll be putting these in the fridge and there can be no leaching from the glass like you get with plastics. So we begin with the grains. I use rolled oats or quick oats. These can be or should be organic, but other kinds, just plain, work just as well. We've got some hemp hearts. You can see these up close. They're very high in nutrients. Here's the bag, so you can check it out. See if you can find that at your store. And what else? Oh, flax. We've got flax here. So I use this kind. You can get it at Costco or wherever. Let's see. Many other types of grains can be used. Quinoas, rices. If you're on low-carb diet, you might want to go for one of these. Of course, the oatmeal is incredibly high in beta-glucans, which is very supportive to the immune system. And so even just a little bit of a good carb like oatmeal can be allowable on the diets. But sometimes, if we're being very strict, then you're going to want to try something else. So what I usually do is I first layer the dry stuff. So here I put oatmeal, the hemp hearts, some chia. So we got our chia here, chia seeds. These, when they get soaked with water, they have a gel on the outside, and the gel is very supportive to the gut and digestive system. And then after we layer the dry food, we want to go for some dry berries. So I have goji berries here, sometimes called wolfberries. These are wonderful because they're very high in protein. One of the few berries that does have that, as well as a variety of other vitamins and nutrients. You can use staple raisins. We've got plums here, or actually these are prunes. So they've been dried and I've just cut them up. I've got dates chopped up. These are wonderful. These are very sweet, so you won't need to add any sugar. Let's see. Oh, nuts, cashews, almonds, pistachios, your choice. And then we have some seeds here. So we've got pumpkin seeds and walnuts and some dried cranberries and some dried, let's see, what's this, mulberry. So these are really wonderful additions as well. Pumpkin seeds really uniquely high in zinc, magnesium, some very other important nutrients. Oh yeah, sesame seeds. These, wonderful. You can get them in bulk. Really high in variety of vitamins A, C, B. So yeah, so let's put a few of these in. We got some nuts and some of the raisins. You kind of want to think about what flavor combinations go together. Certainly when it comes to oatmeals, we go right to some of the more sweet things and very rich foods, and that's wonderful. But you can also make a savory one. And so with that, one of the things that I like to put into a savory oatmeal is eggs. So these, it's just a hard-boiled egg, cut it up, and the benefit of that is you can get B12 from eggs. Every other vitamin here is covered by some of the foods that I have except B12, because that comes from meat sources and dairy sources. And so if eggs are part of your diet, very healthy, B12 right here. Another thing that's wonderful to add to a savory oatmeal is avocado. And actually you can add it to a sweet one as well, because it has such a mild taste that it can be included with the nuts. One of the things that we're going for with these oatmeals is high fat content. So a lot of us think we need to stay away from that it's not healthy, but that actually couldn't be further from the truth. We need these really good healthy fats like avocado. Also, like this is coconut oil, so I'll be adding this as well as flax oil. Very healthy, very important. Let's see, what other fats? Oh, we've got almond butter, peanut butter, really important fats to add. I'm going to do that right now with this one that I've been working on. Just a big spoon of it, so I'm really going for it here. With that savory one, going back to this one that we're making that is going to have the egg in it, you can add hot sauce. So this one's actually from the Brinery, which is a local company to where I live, and these are naturally fermented hot sauces, and so you're going to get some nice probiotics in this as well. And speaking of probiotics, one of the little tricks that I've developed over the years here making these make-ahead foods for breakfasts and other meals is I actually will take a supplement. This is a probiotic capsule, and I just break it and pour it right into here. So it's going in, and now that day I'm not going to need to take my supplement. I just eat my oatmeal and there it is. So really nice thing to add to any of these. Beside that, or also you're going to be storing these oatmeals in the fridge, which is where they'll turn into the they'll get softer overnight. And so by storing them in the fridge, that will also preserve the probiotic effects of the bacteria that is in the capsules. Let's see, what else do we have? Oh, some more dry things that are really nice to add is coconut flakes. And so I've got some of those here, unsweetened, dry, nothing else added beside the coconut. So I've got some cacao nibs. Cacao is extremely high in a variety of essential nutrients and minerals, including manganese and magnesium, zinc, copper, iron. This is a superfood. So what I did is I actually took the cacao seeds like this, and I chopped them up with my coffee grinder. And so now I've got some cacao nibs here, but you can buy cacao nibs straight up at the store as nibs. So that's a really nutrient-packed addition. An alternative is, where's my cacao? Okay, here it is, cacao powder. So this is an organic raw cacao, and this is, again, another superfood that is high in many different vitamins and nutrients, very, very high value. So one of the things that I do is I sometimes make ahead a combination of superfood powders. So this is one that has the cacao in it. It also has Peruvian maca, another superfood. I'll put these links on the site so that you can read about the nutrient value. But basically, if you're eating this food, you do not need to take vitamins that day, maybe not even that week. We're talking serious action-packed vitamins. So this, like I was saying, this combination has the cacao, the maca. I also put ashwagandha, which is another superfood, also known as an adaptogen. So this helps the body deal with stress. It helps support the immune system, which this time of year we all need all the support we can get. And then I also put mushrooms in it. So these are a blend of 14 mushrooms, all medicinal mushrooms. And medicinal not in that you necessarily need them for a specific disease or condition, but all of these help, again, huge immune system support, driving up the presence of natural killer cells in your body, so you'll be able to fight off any invaders, as well as dysfunctional problems within your body. I know no one wants to talk about some of these things that are really scary, diabetes affecting different parts of our bodies. Even if it's not diabetes, it's different issues with metabolic disorders. So our immune system can interface with the biochemistry of the dysfunctional metabolic system and sometimes provide improvement. In addition, things like cancer, these are immunotherapeutic mushrooms. And so I'm going to put about, it's a lot, it's a half tablespoon. I'm putting that in there. I'm going for it. There it is. That's wonderful superfood. Speaking of superfoods, dry ones, I also have a combination of greens powders. And so what this is it's things like spirulina and kelp and moringa leaf powder. These are all extremely high in chlorophyll, very high green and nutrient value, basically replacing a green juice. And here we are, just adding it to our oatmeal, getting even more. So let's add some of that one. Greens powder, really nice. You can add this one to the savory or the sweeter one, doesn't matter. Let's see, what else do we have? Okay, so this is the mushroom blend straight up. So if you don't want to have one that has the cacao in it, you can just add the mushrooms as this is. I'm going to do that with the savory one. And turmeric, also another miracle root powder. This one, extremely anti-inflammatory, very, very powerful in supporting our livers and our guts, our digestion in general. I'm throwing that one in the savory. Something else that's a really great addition to these oatmeals is ginger root. So you can cut it up and have it be fresh. Not a lot, just a little. An alternative is using a really high quality essential oil. So this is doTERRA brand. This is ginger. These are food grade and therapeutic grade. They can't say medicinal because they're not cleared or reviewed by the FDA, but the truth is that these things do have medicinal value. And again, this is a food grade ginger essential oil. And so I'm going to add that to one of these just by dropping it in rather than the ginger root at this point. But it's your choice how you want to do it. I also have, this is a lemon essential oil. You can add that to your water or to one of these. Let's see, we're still working on dry things here. We got, flax. Another thing that's really important to add to these oatmeals. Wonderful addition. A little bit of cinnamon can go a long way, supporting blood sugar. And by that I mean inhibiting blood sugar spikes. And so for those of us dealing with metabolic disorders, endocrine challenges, diabetes, prediabetes, or anything like that, if you dealing with any kind of weight problems, obesity, any kind of gut disruptions, cinnamon's incredibly calming. Black pepper. So I'm going to actually put a little bit of this in all of them, and not necessarily to get the peppery flavor, but to help digestion of some of the other nutrients and vitamins, which are more bioavailable when you have fats and when you have a synergistic ingredient like the black pepper. We don't totally understand the science, but it's been shown repeatedly, and so we're going to go with it and trust that the nutritionists, herbalists, those of the Ayurvedic medicine background, it's a 5,000 or more year-old science, and so those things guide us. Let's see, other dry things, you know, I'm not adding sugar. You can get that from the dates, you can get it from the other foods, the fruits that we're going to add. If you really feel like you need it, especially if you're giving it to your children or if you're working your way toward training your palate to be okay with having less of the sugars, you can use a little bit of maple syrup. We'll add this when we add the water. An alternative is monk fruit extract. So this stuff is a really unique sweetener that, unlike every other sweetener, this is not artificial, it's from fruit, it completely circumvents the whole blood sugar, insulin, glucose circuit. And so you will get absolutely no sugar spike at all with this. So it's safe for all people battling any kind of metabolic or sugar concern. It's safe for low-carb diets. It's a really wonderful thing. The only challenge is that it's extremely sweet, and so just a few drops can make things quite tasty. Raw honey, only raw, only organic. We've got some coconut sugar, and so this is sugar that's from the coconut pulp. Again, another more healthy source for sugar rather than cane sugar. And then the last dry component that I'm going to add is some kind of protein powder. So there's so many choices, so many things on the market, and you know, you don't have to add this, but we're going for a complete meal here. And so I mentioned earlier the importance of the oils. The next thing that's incredibly important for maintaining our energy levels and our feeling of fullness throughout the day, and just generally from a health standpoint, are proteins. And so we're going to get that from these protein powders. I like to use the ones that are plant-based, that have pea proteins and rice, brown rice proteins, but some of us prefer the whey-based protein. That's fine. So you decide what works for you. Let's see, another dry thing that can add is, so I had that custom greens powder blend, but you can buy one. This one's from Trader Joe's. It's just called green drink powder. You can read all the wonderful things on it. You can just go add this straight to your oatmeal. We've got a red powder. I've got this green superfood from Amazing Grass. Again, this is another wonderful thing. This also has digestive enzymes in it, which help pre-digest the food. And again, that's a very soothing for the gut. Okay, so now that we've added some of these dry components, we're going to add water or milk. So I usually use a non-dairy milk. You're welcome to use a dairy milk, but from a health standpoint, moving toward non-dairy milks can be really helpful for a number of reasons that I'm not going to go into right now. So I'm going to add a little bit of this water here. So, you know, just cover up the grains. You kind of, you know, maybe erring on the side of less is good, because you could always add more later, the next day or in a couple days when you're eating it. One of my favorite non-dairy milks is hemp milk. So that's right here. This one has a little bit of sweetener. They're sweetened with stevia, which is another non-sugar sweetener that's not artificial. But stevia does interact with the blood sugar system, not quite the same way that traditional or like cane sugars do, but it's not the same as monk fruit. So this hemp is sweetened and has a little bit of vanilla extract in it, but you can get ones that are unsweetened as well. So this one's going to go in here. And the oils, add the coconut oil right now. Usually like at least a tablespoon. not shying away from the coconut oil. I want this fat. Really good. Really, really good for us. And the flax. Flax is a great one for the savory oatmeals. So now we move on to the wet or the fresh additives. One thing that I forgot to mention is you're welcome to stir this up if you're worried that the liquid is not going to get down there into the oatmeal. You can just give it a stir here. This one's has got a lot of cacao in it, and so it's going to be very chocolatey, delicious. So for our sort of fresh ingredients, certainly berries of any kind. Here we have some blueberries. This is going to be really nice addition, especially to this chocolatey one. I'm adding those goji berries right now. And I'm going to put some of the raisins and the pumpkin seeds in this other combination right here. Nuts are a great addition to the savory ones. Let's see. I think I've got most of these things here. And then here's pomegranate seeds. Delicious. Coming from this amazing superfood. So I'm going to put that in there too. And another great option that you can find at many food stores is a superfruit pack. These are frozen. They also sometimes have these with things like spirulina and wheatgrass. These are wonderful additions. So I'm going to put that in one of these as well. Yeah, that's going to give us this really bright purple color. And then one of the things that I'm adding to the savory one, and this can also be added to the sweet ones, are sprouted pea shoots. And so now we're getting a little bit of the greens in here in a different way than via the greens powder. And let's see, have I hit most of these ingredients? I think so. So you see that it's kind of a layering process. If you keep it dry, it looks really pretty. Once you start adding the water and the milks, it can get, a little weird looking, but it's okay. This is not about what it looks like. This is about nutrition. This is about getting these whole foods, getting a complete meal. You don't need to take your vitamins these days. And so now what I'm going to do is, when I finish adding a few more ingredients to each one of these, I'm just going to put the lid on. And I always use a dry erase marker to write the date because I want to know when I grab that out of the fridge what day that I made it. My husband really likes taking these to work for lunch, and so that gives him heads up when has it been made. Now, if you're feeling really motivated, you can even make some of these that you put in the freezer. And so what's going to happen is, but I usually wait and let the liquid absorb into the oatmeal, into the chia, into all the dry things. Let it sit at least overnight, and then I'll throw it in the freezer. So yeah, you can let these sit in the fridge for a couple days. I mean, we'll go as long as a week, especially if you don't use fresh ingredients. If you've used fresh ingredients, you just kind of got to watch it and make sure that, like say the blueberries, don't show any kind of signs of molding or rotting. But otherwise, they should be good in your fridge for a few days. And again, breakfast or lunch, dinner in a pinch. You can send these to school with the kids. They're good to eat cold, but you can warm them up as well. So yeah, I hope I've given you some inspiration for some different things that you can, different combinations, different foods you can put together. Using all these different materials and foods and berries and nuts and seeds, we've covered pretty much all of the essential vitamins and nutrients that you need in any day. And we've probably hit a few things that you're not getting very often, such as iodine or manganese that might be coming from the kelp. And so I wish you the best. And feel free to email me or direct message if you have any questions about certain ingredients. I'll post everything I can about where I get this stuff and what I know about the vitamins. Might take me a few days, but I'll get it up there. Ciao.